So it looks like we're getting more details behind the arrest of Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo. The Sun is reporting new details coming out from a court filing as to what the law enforcement seized during their search.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So the last that we talked about Wendy Osefo was her breaking her silence over the weekend at BravoCon. And apparently, based off of what my sources are telling me, she wasn't seen after day one. So it seems as if maybe she left after day one and they had the Real Housewives of Potomac panel. But during the panel, she did break her silence, basically saying that she cannot talk about the details of the case, but right now, these are just allegations. Well, now the Sun is reporting exactly what the law enforcement seized during their search of the Osefos' home. So let me get into those details and then we can expand upon them. The Sun writes this: Real Housewives of Potomac stars Wendy and Eddie Osefo's emails, bank records, and Instagram accounts were seized by law enforcement in their fraud case, the U.S. Sun can exclusively reveal. Court filings from state attorney's office reveal both Eddie and Wendy's various records were seized by law enforcement who were investigating the couple's alleged insurance fraud after they, quote, faked a break-in at their home. They say that Wendy and Eddie were arrested on October 9th and were subsequently hit with a slew of charges, including conspiracy, false and misleading info, and insurance fraud. The state's index of information produced in discovery revealed that investigators gained access to the Real Housewives of Potomac stars' Gmail account, as well as a third Gmail account that did not include either of their names. Excuse me, a burner? Those emails were accessed via a search and seizure warrant served to Google. You may recall in Wendy's response, they were saying that some of this information that was collected, they were first saying that their arrest was illegal, and they were questioning the validity of the search of their home. Additionally, Wendy's Instagram accounts, which were a target of the investigation after she posed with a ring she claimed was stolen, were also the subject or a search and seizure warrant, which was served to Meta platforms. Oh, I'm not surprised, but the fact that we're getting more details. Through Meta, investigators were able to access Wendy's Instagram with the handle The Dr. Wendy Show. Oh, not her official Instagram, another Instagram, as well as her main account with the handle Wendy Osefo. A search and seizure warrant was also served on Wendy's Apple ID. Another was served to a company called TextNow Inc., as well as home security companies Ring Protect Incorporated and ADT Security Services. That's important to know because in our coverage of the story, one of the accusations that law enforcement and the prosecution has against Wendy and Eddie is the fact that they said that they had a burglary when they were away in Jamaica. However, investigators discovered that the ADT system that they have within their home saw no activity. The Ring Protect was for the front door, and apparently that only saw activity for an Amazon delivery. In addition to the search and seizure warrants, the Discovery Index also included bank records from Ally Bank, American Express, and Capital One. Several luxury retailers were listed as contributing to the discovery, including Van Cleef, Louis Vuitton, Saks, and Ascot Diamonds. Additionally, the state responded to Wendy and Eddie's claims that their arrests were illegal, due in part to, quote, defects in the charging documents. They also said that any statements made by the defendant were voluntary and made after the defendant was properly advised of his or her rights. So this is what we were talking about when we first reported on Wendy's response illegally. And we said that it seems as if this is protocol. We had Miss Esquire, we had another attorney, apologies, I can't think of everyone's name right now, call in and share their thoughts legally. And a lot of people were saying that this was Coco Esquire. There we go. Coco, forgive my brain, not my heart. So they all said that this seems like it would be protocol, that we saw this with Karen as well. Didn't mean that what they were saying was fact, unless there was some sort of like they did not follow the proper protocol when it comes to the police. So additionally, the state responded to Wendy and Eddie's claims that their arrests were illegal, due in part to, quote, defects in the charging documents. They also said that any statements made by the defendant were voluntary and made after the defendant was properly advised of his or her rights. So that was a question that I had. I was like, so are they saying that they weren't read their Miranda rights? They're saying that they were. The state also appeared to be attempting to try Wendy and Eddie as co-defendants, despite the couple requesting to be tried separately. We talked about that as well. I will tag the video where we had our attorney friends call in and share their different legal perspectives. The state said the defendant will not be prejudiced by a joinder of his or her trial with co-defendants, and he or she will not be prejudiced by a joinder of charges. The state further claimed that there is no defect in the charging document. As the U.S. Sun previously revealed, Wendy and Eddie faced multiple charges after police alleged they staged a home break-in to fraudulently collect money from their various insurance providers. Wendy also lost her employment as a professor at Wesleyan University following the arrest, although her representative insisted she resigned and was not dismissed. During their appearance at BravoCon this weekend, Wendy briefly addressed her and her husband's arrest, and Eddie was in the audience of the RHOP panel as well. In a quote, they said, "You know it's an unfortunate situation, and right now I can't say too much, but I will say when the time is right," she told the audience. For me, felt like a setup of, I will talk about this on Real Housewives of Potomac, extending, because honestly, this case could extend Wendy's lifetime on Potomac for at least 2 years. Because they haven't even gotten to a trial date yet. All the hearings that they were supposed to have been pushed back. So this could be extended for a period of time. And let's say she doesn't go to jail and Eddie does. This could extend her time even more. Wendy just secured her spot on Real Housewives of Potomac probably for like 3-4 years, if we're going to be honest. So she says, "I will share my story with everyone, and for now, they're just allegations, so we will continue to push forward." So the Real Housewives of Potomac couple were detained in Maryland after being accused of falsely reporting that their 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom, $1 million residence, that home is not $1 million, right? I mean, maybe if you round up, but that home was not $1 million, and which was interesting because some of you, when this initially came out, we were like, and she's talking about renovating her home. And in this week's episode, they, shady producers, but not shady, this is a part of her storyline. We're doing all these renovations to our home, $100,000 in renovations. And some of you said it doesn't make sense to invest that amount of money based off the area and the value of the home. It didn't make sense to the renovations. But look, so they said that this all stems from a claim that the $1 million residence had been burglarized in 2024 while they were in Jamaica. The charges relate to incidents that occurred between April and May of 2024. Sidebar, I like the fact that Sun explains what insurance fraud is, because we love to educate ourselves. I think we like to pretend like we know everything, but we don't. So in the middle of this article, they say, what is insurance fraud? Wendy and Eddie Osefo were hit with a slew of charges, including insurance fraud. Insurance fraud is the act of deception or misrepresentation to an insurance company for financial gain, such as faking an accident to file a claim, exaggerating a legitimate claim, or lying about details to lower premiums. It is a felony that can be committed by individuals, businesses, or even insurance employees, and includes premeditated schemes and smaller deceptions. This can result in severe penalties like fines, jail time, and having to repay the stolen money, and is ultimately increases costs for all policy holders. So this is what we always remind you guys of. You're like, oh, their crimes are innocent. It doesn't affect anyone. It affects you. Crimes like this affect you. This is what I said about Todd Chrisley and his family's situation too. According to the bail review document, the state of Maryland reported that the Bravo star contacted law enforcement on April 7th to report a robbery at their residence, which they claimed happened while they were vacationing in Jamaica with their 3 children. The couple informed officers that their bedroom and both closets had been ransacked and a number of designer bags and pieces of jewelry had been stolen. Sidebar: while Sutton Strack and Kathy Hilton were at BravoCon, their homes, both of their homes, were burglarized. I saw that Sutton had released a statement, and people are making jokes like, oh, here we go again with these Bravo celebrities. However, in all fairness, the Bravo celebrities, because they're at BravoCon, does make them a target like, oh, they're not home. Especially with someone like Sutton. Yes, her kids, I think, come and live with her for periods of time, but ideally, they're like, oh, these people are away. Might be the ideal time to. And this is a big thing that happens in California as well. But you would think that their security would be top notch. Apparently not. They said the couple informed the officers that their bedroom and both closets had been ransacked and a number of designer bags and pieces of jewelry stolen. Following this, they submitted claims to 3 separate insurance companies for the purported losses. The state document further alleged that Eddie submitted overlapping claims for certain items to 2 different insurance companies. Edward Osefo gave recorded statements to 2 of the insurance companies regarding a list of stolen items he provided, which probably is part of the reason why he has more charges than Wendy. I think Wendy has 16, he has 18. He was asked if any of those items on the list had been returned, which he denied. He was also questioned about having other insurance, but did not disclose to Homesite and Jewelers that he was also making a claim with Travelers Insurance. The paperwork specifies the amount of loss claimed on the sworn statement of loss was $2,500 for the building and an estimated $450,000 for contents/personal property. Homesite denied his claim due to the failure to disclose other policies. Eddie, quote, included an inventory of reported stolen items along with receipts for most of the items listed, the document noted. Wendy's anniversary band. So investigators observed that Wendy's diamond anniversary band, which was listed among the stolen property, remained visible on her Instagram account in the weeks following the alleged burglary. This is why some people say that this crime, if they actually did it, they did not do it smartly. Her post from April 27, 2024, which allegedly included a shot of the ring in question, had since been removed. Here's the thing: when you remove stuff from social media, it doesn't mean it actually goes away. Probably part of the reason why they subpoenaed Meta so that all of that stuff could be tracked. Because all of it's tracked. You delete it, it doesn't disappear. It disappears from your timeline, but it doesn't disappear from the record keeping over at the social media platform. Authorities also obtained email records from the couple. On the 12th of April of 2024, Edward sent an email to Wendy. Everyone says this is probably like the worst part, the dumbest part of this crime. Sent an email to Wendy listing reportedly stolen items and asked if there were, quote, additional high-value items we can add to this inventory listing, i.e. Chanel shoes, etc. I'm trying to get the total to exceed $423,000, which is our policy maximum. Significantly, when the couple was taken into custody, a search and seizure warrant was executed at their home, and deputies allegedly recovered at least 15 items claimed as stolen during the burglary. So this is where it's sort of hard to even feel sorry for them, because 15 items that you listed as stolen were discovered in your home. During a press conference last month, the sheriff confirmed that Wendy's diamond anniversary band was among the recovered objects. Wendy has also been charged separately with making a false statement to an officer. Both paid $50,000 bail to secure their release a day after their arrest. Wendy joined the Real Housewives of Potomac in season 5, and they have 3 children together. This, again, I'm not surprised that the prosecution is defending that everything that they did was above board when it comes to their arrest, their charging documents. We're going to continue to follow the story. It's been a while since we've had an update. I know they were supposed to have a hearing this month. It was pushed back to December. Now I'm hearing it might be pushed back even further. But this is the game of these types of cases. So as I said to you before, I feel like this is going to secure Wendy's spot on Real Housewives of Potomac. For the same way that Ashley dragged out her divorce for like 4 seasons, I could see Wendy dragging this whole situation out for the next 3 to 4 seasons. But are you interested? Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts on this update when it comes to Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo's criminal case that they're facing right now. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Here we go now.